Good evening.
Good evening.
I thought I was on mute there for a second. I'm always on mute. I thought I was on mute.
It's like
Oh god.
it's like the streaming service I use with Dakota, and it's the what do you call it, the melon, and it usually tells you. There's always a wee delay. I
What
thought
happened?
I was muted too.
Oh no, it's just I always forget. I manually have to do it, so I forgot. I'm not muted. Just realised I didn't say anything.
Just going to click on comments. Actually, I didn't think I could do it. I
Oh.
forgot about that. You know.
I should have put it in as up earlier, but I was having a nap. But anyway, good evening. Welcome to another Saturday night of Shadow Whispers in the Night. Once again, we have Mr. Christopher Moole as my co-host.
Yes, I'm here from the shadows.
He's left Dakota.
Yes, Dakota's doing his own type of live tonight. Dakota's doing a kind of his own type of like the Dakota Files or something like that. He's talking about
Good. I was joking. He didn't leave Dakota. No, he didn't. I'm joking. People mailing me now. So we do have a fantastic guest on with us tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we have Mr. Neil Story. I'm so looking forward to this.
And he's in the dungeon as we speak, because we were actually before the start of the show, we were talking about the hangman. And he's actually down there, I'm looking down, waiting for him to appear. Neil!
So we have Drew now. I'm going to put up some of the comments here. We have Drew here now. Drew is so looking forward to this tonight. Drew is a big fan of Neil. Big fan of Neil.
Yeah.
We'll get Drew on again some night with Neil. Hi, Stephanie. We have Liz. Hi, Liz. Love Liz. Yes, Liz.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Irene
from Tokyo.
Wow.
Yeah, I know Irene a few years.
Eric Thompson.
Eric, we have Eric. Yeah, Eric's always on with the Emerald Isle. He's always on with Emerald Isle. It's very warm tonight, isn't it? I have the fire lit.
It's very warm. I don't know if it is, but it's heavy rain here. And it's absolutely freezing outside, so we've turned the heating on, and it's like a greenhouse in here. It really is like a greenhouse in here, you know.
Yeah, it's hot here. I have the fire, but I have a head cold and all that crack going on, so I'm just going to have a hot whiskey later on. So we're going to stop waffling on and talking. We're going to bring in a fantastic guest that I'm so looking forward to. Yes. We have Mr. Neil Story in the background. We're going to bring him in.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, Neil?
I am wonderful. Thank you for inviting me on the show. It's been lovely to meet you for the first time, Jen. And then I saw Mr. Baldwin Bonkers himself, Chris Mill, and you didn't even tell me my buddy Chris was on here.
I didn't.
I thought it'd be a surprise. I was actually going to message you and thought I'll be co-hosting with Jenny, but then I thought can something. No,
it's a wonderful surprise.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to see Drew, you beautiful lady. Love to you and all the sisters in Scotland. Lots of love, darling.
That's true. She's God bless her. She was looking forward to tonight.
Drew's one of your biggest fans, I think. She's one of the what do you call the dancers you get at like baseball games and stuff? The dancers, the shoes. That's what Drew is. She's there. She's all happy.
I've just got a dream of one day. All of us lovely Facebook friends from these various groups. We've got to get together.
Yes,
I see some of you at Festival of the Unexplained or at the Parameet. We've got to somehow get you guys along. I think some shenanigans may be required. I know some organisers, and yes, I think things need to happen because you have things to say, and people want to hear them. So
yes, we have a lot of things to say.
Jenny's a very good investigator. She was away at the Hellfire Club the other night there, and that was
you followed in my footsteps. See. I was there with my American paranormal research team with the wonderful Dave Schrader, Mr. Holzer Files himself. We were there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was there. It was a Saturday week ago. I was there actually.
It was there.
So we like ships in the night.
Ago. I know. It was interesting. We had another team with us, and they left about 11:30 at night, and then myself and Lou and Niall stayed. That's the Emerald Isle.
Why did they leave at 11:30, just before the witching hour?
Oh,
in the Hellfire Club. and you have to go at 11:30. Come on.
Unwell. One of the ladies was unwell. She had a bit of a migraine coming on. So
yeah,
we
migraine or the intensity of the experience.
Well, the questions I started off with weren't wasn't not friendly. They were factual. Yeah. And sometimes people don't like facts. As in like the hellfire.
Well, so that place is bonkers. And it really is. I think from I mean, we got a lot of results. We got EVP. Remember, these are folks. We had a paranormal research group, which was really lovely because we had a lot of people from different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
We had folks there. There was African American. There was Native American descent as well, and people with ancestry across Europe.
Okay.
So this included Transylvania, Romania, lovely Raluca, and her husband Thomas, and there's people from South America. What an incredible and what really struck me was there seemed to be an energy and a power and a synergy in the group. You know, a lot of friendship, lots of very genuine people, and the results were strong. And I mean, we had some great stuff at Bosworth Hall, but you're working with a lot of very good mediums and all sorts there.
Yeah.
But Hellfire, it was just our American group. And if people don't know it, if they're listening and you may have heard of this place, and I'd never been before. This place, it's a chalk hillside, really, isn't it? And these chalk caverns were hollowed out in the 18th century. This is Francis Dashwood, and he was the kind of main man, one of the founders of the Hellfire Club. And he's got people, it must have cost a fortune to hollow out this cavernous system. And it looks like it's been there for thousands of years, but it hasn't. It's hollowed out, and it's a warren, it's a maze. There's areas that are very, very damp, and you can go into two areas there where there are huge, almost like a domed, carved area. One where they supposedly used to dine, and one which was the inner sanctum. And what we picked up, I'll tell you one thing. We picked up a number of children, and something concerns me there. Now sometimes we all have to be aware that darker spirits can take the form of kids. Or were there children tricked down there? And it just seemed to me that we're getting messages through. We're getting SLS of smaller figures. Were they children that played there once upon a time and had something happened?
Yeah.
Or were they part of an awful, awful, awful thing that happened down there? Maybe ritualistic, and maybe they're little lost souls. They're buried somewhere very inappropriate. I don't know, because we don't know all of the stories of the Hellfire Club. But it was hard to find these children.
It's a very interesting location. The one Jenny was at was the Irish one, wasn't it, Jenny? And it was outside in Dublin. And I actually looked that building up, and it's one of the most weirdest design buildings I've ever seen, because you've got like a stables at one end, and then you've got stables at the other end. It's really, really strange.
Yeah.
It's and it's so dark, and even in the daytime, it's nighttime, and on the inside, you would have to use a torch sometimes. I remember standing in there one day on my own at the second floor, and I was calling the guys who I was with, to come back, and they kind of went off a little bit, and I was just standing there, and I was thinking, okay. And then I thought, oh crap, I'm standing in the Hellfire Club on my own, and I'm a woman.
Oh.
And I can either go down the stairs and leave, or there's a room when you go up the first flight, there's a room at the back, and that's the room that nobody likes. Nobody likes it, but I seem to like it because I feel comfortable in it, which is the room that everybody hates, but I feel comfortable in it. But I kind of, when I called out on Saturday night, we have videos of it and so on. We have the REM pod up we were on the first floor, and we had the REM pod up on the top floor. And so I'm calling out saying that William, who had built this building, was for a shooting range. And he passed away 4 years after he passed away. So I'm calling out to him. And I said, William, come, blah, 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 talk with me. I said, how do you feel now that we know that you built this building, but it's known more for its darker history? I said, and there was a gentleman's club, and I said, I used the word gentleman very loosely. And then the REM pod went off upstairs. I was like, yay, it's working.
That's a good result.
Yeah.
It's working. We have it on video. And I said, I was kind of telling him, we know what you did to women. We know what you did to them. Yeah. You raped them and you murdered them, and you're not a gentleman. Yeah. I said, but you don't frighten me. Because I get very, I get very,
If you were encountering these people, you always have to be mindful of what you encounter. But if you are disgusted with the spirit and what they did, well, I don't think there's anything too wrong. As long as you're protected, you're safe. If you feel you're encountering something on a level, then I think that's fair. That's a fair comment.
I let you know, yeah.
What intrigued me about the Hellfire Caves when we're coming out, the way that they're carved through there, if some poor girl had second thoughts, she would not have easily been able to run away, because you get kind of lost in this tangle of caves.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize now, okay, there's a gate to the inner temple inside the Hellfire Caves, but it's like a wicket. And the furthest one out, if you look, it's been removed, that gate. And it's actually, you'll see the hinges, and they are the old ones, the old ones. Hinges on the side, but that door can only, if you were coming out, it would only open outwards. Okay.
Right.
And you will notice if the door was shut, down on the bottom of the door, beside where the frame of the door would be, is quite a sizable. It would be what I'd call a throw bolt. Right. You know, the ones that are like a bar.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Slide it across.
Yeah.
It is the receptacle for that bar that you slide across like that. Not a lot of people notice that. So now remember, they had that steward. He's the guy that supposedly, even in spirit, he looks after the place. His heart ended up, being put into this urn, and they would drink out of the urn and all this kind of stuff. That guy, now if he's that dedicated, he's a bit like an Igor. And of course, once people are in that room, he's going to throw that bolt. And only with a secret knock or even the word of Dashwood would get people out of that room.
That is
a lot of people that they can't. It's not noted, but you read the landscape of the building, read the way it's all set up, and I think that's particularly dark. Nobody, if that steward was really obeying Dashwood, or whoever was in charge there,
nobody get it.
You would not be getting out of that. That throw bolt was absolutely flat. It's big enough, solid. That's quite terrifying. And my take on the story of this girl is it's Suki. And she died because of a practical joke or something. That doesn't wear very well with me. I think because she was a local girl, they had to say something. But I got a feeling that, you ply a girl with money and drink.
Oh, yeah.
Dashwood wrote the Book of Covent Garden Women. Now, that's known. Now, this was a kind of punter's review book of prostitutes.
Yes.
Women that would go sell themselves in the theatres and all sorts, professional prostitutes, and he rated them. He and this is an 18th century. It's available. It's around, and there were other guides to the. I think it's a tragic thing that happened. It's the oldest trade, but you think if they will sell themselves for money, then there must have been girls that are new to. There's always waifs and strays coming to London. Girls or kids who could just disappear.
Yeah, they disappeared. Or come up here, come up to the caves and for some shilling or two and have a nice night and never, ever, ever to leave those caves.
If you've got people, there's the old saying of convince the little man. And if you've convinced people, a steward or other members of staff there, that, there will be a body left and you have to make it disappear. Otherwise you will lose your employment, your money here.
Yeah.
This is the age. It's the age of body snatching. For goodness sake, there might not have even been a sort of body issue, because if you've got the wealthy people that maybe were new surgeons, were surgeons, oh good, the body's got it, they're dead, and then the body's taken away to surgeons' hall, so you haven't even got a burial of a cadaver issue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually terrifying to think what actually went on in their places.
Yes, it is.
You think about it when you go.
No, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the one in Dublin. I was watching the video, guys, and everybody that's new here, you need to go and watch Jenny's video, our investigation in the Hellfire Club, because for a split second when you turned that camera, I thought I seen like a white face, and with a veil. I kid you not, Neil. You should go and watch it, and for a split second, and it was like this really creepy looking face. And the darkness in the archway. And I think I was the only one that seen that. There was actually other people that seen it.
Louise had seen it earlier on the night. She had seen it downstairs in the first floor where we had started off. And it was Louise's birthday the day before. So we had a cake and we sang happy birthday. So we have everything on video. But so you're singing happy birthday to someone, a friend of ours, a lady in the Hellfire Club. It's all happy and cheerful. So, because I began to call it the ladies' club now, and that is no longer a man's club.
Take it over. Yeah, come on.
I did say that. I said, you're not invited. And it's invite only, and you're not invited.
Yeah, that's one in the eye. I like that.
And God forbid if anything happened, I'll be the first one out the door.
As an iconic place, Jenny, as it's one of I'm amazed you made it up the hill, because you had a bad cold that day, didn't you?
I still have it. It's one of those colds that just won't go away. But that hill, going up to it, let me tell you, the Hellfire Club, the hell is that hill. It's not funny. And I did a live at the first 5 minutes, and then I had to stop because you couldn't hear what I was saying, because I was like, we were all heavy breathing, me more than others. And I said to Niall and Louise, and I said, why are you not heavy breathing? And they said, we are, but we just can't, you can't hear it over your heavy breathing, because I would go. It's hard. It's a tough place. And then it was torrential rain on the way down. And I forgot I had my body camera on and it's still running. You'll see me slipping. It was large torrential rain, so we're walking in muck, and I had hiking boots on me, but I slipped, but I didn't fall, but I did do my knee in. It was fun. It was great.
Ow.
I began to call myself OAP paranormal, because Louise was telling me, Jenny, walk sideways down, walk sideways. And I did. And I'm holding on to her. And I've been helped down that hill many times, but it's a trek up. It is a trek. Wow.
But I think they're worth it. They're worth it for the experience and the spirits that you can reach. What I would also like to say is that the Hellfire Caves that we went to in the UK, the team of people there that run them today are some of the nicest you could ever want to meet. They're very, very welcoming. If you are respectful, of what's around there, they don't mind a bit of investigation. I think there's a lady who is a Wiccan there as well. Just really nice people. You feel in safe hands. You just welcome. Treat it right.
Yeah,
I did actually see some of the pictures that were posted with you and Dave at the location, and I thought, and I seen it, and I thought I could feel the energy for that place. You think how many people may have died there, and the things that's been done there, the energy must be so intense. Jenny, me and you, we need to go and see the Hellfire Club in England. And Neil, you need to come too.
We do. We need to have the triumvirate there.
That's it.
We need to get Drew down there as well, because we think we need some Drew magic as well. But we need to have the powerful group.
It'll be amazing. Could you imagine?
I think if you've got that kind of energy in a group, it is
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Powerful.
Well,
I would look forward to that. I would love to say do a triangle under one night of all the Hellfire clubs, Ireland, UK, all on the same night at the same time with the same questions.
Wow.
And record everything.
Yeah.
And then get a database and then all to get together after it, on a big Zoom group call and have your evidence and see what happened between all on the same night. There's one in UK, Ireland. Where was the third one?
There's one in Scotland. In Edinburgh. Yeah, in Edinburgh.
Wow.
I think Drew was saying that before. So the three of them, Ireland, UK, and Scotland, and all in the same. I think we should organise that. Same date, same night, same time.
Wow.
And the same questions.
I actually thought, I don't know if this would work, Jenny, but 3 mobile phones. Everybody phones like maybe like some type of Zoom meeting, right? On the mobile phones, right? On a record. And place the phones down in a dark room.
That's what I do.
And put a voice recorder next to them and just walk away.
That's what
it's connected.
Did I tell you I do that? That's what my team does. And
that's what good ghost hunters do. If you're a good paranormal researcher, I believe, and I know it's contentious to say this, but I keep it simple.
Yeah.
I don't want the circus to come to town. When I do my baseline is absolutely pure. I don't even take a mobile phone with me. There are no electronics whatsoever. I might take a digital camera, just one of those that has a capability so you can film, you can record, but that's it. No noise, no flashing lights, because, and I'll tell you why, everybody, even those that say, I'm skeptical, sometimes they are the most gifted of all the paranormal researchers, if they just relax the skeptic, just relax it and use their natural senses. That's the thing that I want to try and spread through this electronic world where people seem to be beholden to this small box, and you see them walking down the street and wiggling their finger on it and not talking to people in pubs or their children in pubs. So they're paying homage to this strange alien. It's like a Doctor Who episode at times.
I've had that. Yeah.
Keep the electronics away, because sometimes you might be contacting a ghost that's 200 years old. You've got a flashing light in your hand. It's witchcraft. Guess what? They're going to be terrified of you.
That's what we do. I know when we were in Lepcastle, and I always we do the I know it's the mobile phone, but I would have someone would call my phone, and I would leave my phone in a certain room with a recorder in that room with the phone, but not beside it. And then we go to a separate part of the building and we call out. I know in the Drogheda Museum Millmount, where we started it off, the results are phenomenal. And we explain what we're doing and what devices we're using, and that nothing will harm them. And I'm all about the audio. Louise is all about the video and audio, and I'm all about audio. The results, the conversations that we had, you could get it through the phone, or you can get it on your recorder. But it does from when we've used it, it does work. I have some fantastic pieces of audio from the museum through the phone, and Lepcastle. And we were there. We were sitting one night at the fire, and so the phone was in at the back room, and we call it the conservatory or the green room. And so we're all quiet. There was one guy sitting on a chair, and he kept moving, and kept creaking, and I am like, don't breathe, don't move, don't talk. Some guy was breathing and he through his nose and was whistling, and I said, open your mouth. Open your mouth. Open your bloody mouth.
Murder at Castle.
I have heard that myself. Whistling noses.
Of the nose. And I was like, oh, jeez, take the wheel. And so this one, the guy, he's sitting on this rocky wooden chair, and he just kept moving. And I was like, stop. And then I started calling out, and he kept moving, and I just turned, stand up. Stand up. I'm lovely, but I will go batshit crazy if you don't stand up and get off the bleeping chair. So he did. So then I said, right, I'm going to count to 5, and I want you to tell me the missing number. So I count, and I have everything. I keep everything on audio. So I go 1, 2, 4, and through the phone you'll get 5, and everyone looks at each other, and I'm like, "Don't move, don't react, be calm." And I said, "Thank you for telling me the number. Thank you for finishing it off for me. But can you tell me what the missing number was?" And you'll have so many different things coming through, but 5 came through the phone. One lady was there with us, and she'd never seen it happen before. And I just thought, like, my work here is done.
Yes. Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was brilliant.
You know what we need to do? We need to go to Lep Castle. We need to bring Neil Story along, and I'll bring across a 21-year-old single malt or something like that. You know. Your first starting to go there. They're starting to take off.
Bring a little bottle of Jameson's myself. You know.
Yeah.
The only spirits will be us crawling out in the morning.
John McCastle will play his music, and he's partial to a whiskey or two. He likes the whiskey, you know. So, and he'd have his tin whistle out and play some music. He's done it before. We're back in January.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, we're back in January. We love the place. I love the place. I love it. There's so much more in it. There's so much in it that
one day I want to get to Clontarf. I have never been. And I want to see the old ruined church at Clontarf, a suburb of Ireland, of Dublin. And
I know it, it's not too far.
I'd love to see it. Oh, bless your heart. True. Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. But I would love to see that place. What we got here? South Africa doesn't have such scary places.
This is one of my best friends, Chantel. She's just funny. She was here last year with me in Ireland in December, and she's coming back in December. But she's going to London. But I'm getting her to come back to Ireland. She's crazy.
I hope Chantel is going to do a Jack the Ripper tour when she goes to London.
I've been there. I've done it.
It's a bit good. London is a city of so many contrasts. The actual murder sites, of course, they've changed with the contrasts, but old East London, there's still quite a bit of that around. You can still walk on the cobbles.
We did a few months ago. Myself and my team went over and met up with Russell Edwards. I had him on the show before, and I said, and he was on location in Whitechapel, and I didn't know that, so that was a surprise. So he did a tour for us. And I said, right, we have to go over to London. And, I flew and it was just, and maybe we stayed for the weekend, and we had a tour, and we went into the pub where there was a church.
Bells.
Yes, that's the one.
Don't sound surprised. It is the one.
We had a good tonic in it. It was lovely. So we went upstairs, and God, we have a million pictures. We went upstairs, and it's really, upstairs hasn't changed. And it's very, the stairs are, you could picture in your mind the prostitutes going up those stairs. You could picture in your mind them taking the drunk men, or it's that, and can I use the word seedy? Looking, old, dark, red lamps, all of that around. And it's very authentic.
The atmosphere is still there.
Sure is.
Fournier Street beside the 10 Bells. It's still got shuttered houses, railings. It's we did a photo shoot a few moons ago, which had a very good Jack the Ripper theme. Beautiful costumes, really good to be part of it. And really, there was nothing to spoil the views. There really, really wasn't.
I've never been. We'll need to try and create a trip one day. Me and Jenny and Neil and some other people and Drew there. We should go to London and experience it.
Look at that. Drew's off to London on the 19th of November.
I would give you Russell's or whoever is. I did my tour with Russell.
Russell's okay. I mean, there's Richard Cobb and Jack the Ripper tours. Ricky's a good pal of mine. I mean, to be honest with you, every tour of the big names there's Richard Jones as well. And I know Richard, lovely. They've got to do a good job of it. They've got to tell it straight and bring it alive. You don't need costume characters jerking about and dicking about. You just need tell it straight. Take people to the sides. I'm a great believer in tell people what they want to know, not everything you know, and you don't need to dress it up. They're all good tours. They're all nice people. So go one of the big three, and you'll have a great time.
That's it. We're on one of the on the tour, and we went to the laneway where Elizabeth, she was the second last lady to have been killed, but she wasn't. She wasn't. She was killed, but he didn't have time to dissect.
Long live Stride. Yeah.
He didn't have time.
The alleyway.
Yes, Louis. There was a guy there. The gate was locked and bolted, and we were doing a live, and there was a guy came along with the key, and he opened up the lock and he went in, and we were like, who are you, and what's this place like, blah blah blah. So anyway, he came back out, and we were told him. Russell was telling him who we were, and I think everybody in Little India was kind of waving at the camera at one point, Yeah. And we ate in every restaurant on the way down.
It's certainly the curry capital of Britain.
Yeah,
if you go to the Brick Lane area.
I was holding the camera and munching, and there was chickpea and everything falling down, and I was eating I was so hungry. It was fabulous. This guy was locking back up again, and I said, my big thick Irish accent, and I said, "Can we go in? Can we have a wee look before you lock up?" And he goes, "Okay," and we were like,
"Wow."
Okay, we went in there, down at the very bottom. The walls are white, but there's black doors as if they look like stables or shed holding areas.
Wow,
very weird place. I went down to the very bottom, and on the left-hand side, it was just a room. I think there was an emergency door at the end of it. The smell was awful. So with that, Louise and our trusty camera, she had it on the ground.
Yes.
So we have a video up on YouTube of what we don't know now. It was like a shadow. There was a light, but we were all out at this stage. We hadn't even entered it at this stage. There was nobody in it, and a guy came on the street to go in and unlock it, and then came back out. So there's no way in or out on the inside. But we do have it on YouTube. I'll actually send it on to you, where we've seen something going by. It looked like a shadow. We don't know. It looked like a shadow. But it's up on the YouTube.
I will say that, and there's a lot of people in the chat that's already seen it. And Neil, you need to see this. It was a damn good catch, by the way. The person, you can see they're wearing like a hat, but it's no that. What was the jackets that they used to wear? It was kind of thick. It's a Victorian kind of jacket, and it had like a kind of, what were they called?
Is this for a man or a woman?
This is for a man.
It might be what they used to call an Inverness coat, which kind of has a cape with a coat.
Perfect. Yep, that's that.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got one on, and it's walking up the hall.
And the collar up, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do know there was nobody in that alleyway. There was nobody in it. We were standing there looking at it. We were talking.
That's that's the classic sort of Jack the Ripper image, isn't it?
One way in and one way out. Yeah.
Wow.
And the exit door would have been where you push it in from the inside, but there's not a chance you can open up from the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then the guy came on the street to open and close it. And this was before he let us in. But it was just something that we didn't see on the night, but caught it on camera. Yeah. Louise is dead. She's fantastic for having her cameras out. She's great. She caught a lot of stuff in Leap Castle as well, but she's great with the camera.
Fabulous.
I didn't know
fantastic catch. Just wait till you see it, Neil. You'll give a tip. Watch it on like a TV or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you will see you can see as if he's wearing like a hat, a top hat of some kind, and he has got like that one of those, as you say, jackets, and it's kind of thick. And you can just see the outline of the suit that he's got on. And you can tell it's like 17th, 18th century, right? That's vibe about it. It really has.
Wow.
Your hair stand up, and when you see it, because it's a
great
shame you
when
couldn't
that
actually
happens.
show it, Jenny. It's a shame you couldn't show it the new Jenny, because that would have been absolutely amazing.
I could try.
Because with the man Neil Story himself, and he'll see this.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
I should try
or
that.
it could just foul up the whole live stream when you try and do something. Yeah,
that's with me now. I'm on the YouTube and
because I'm not very techie.
No, sorry, you don't need to do nothing. Jenny does everything.
Huh?
You do everything. You're the controller. Me and Neil's just guess here. We don't have any control.
You're talking among yourselves there, because I'm getting this camera up here. I'm getting this. I have it.
Oh, I say.
I do have it. Okay, so let me see if I can play this on here now.
Wait for this.
It's just look at me. If I'm looking like I'm looking at a deer in a headlight, I'm looking at a different screen. I need a second monitor. Right, so we're going to present, aren't we? We're going to share screen. Am I right?
Yep, that's perfect. Yep.
Okay. Oh, my computer's loading. Okay, here we go. We have it. Okay. Let's do this.
You've built this up quite a bit now.
I know, he did.
It's hello. Oof.
It comes.
All right.
Can you see it? Okay, so this is the alleyway. See at the very bottom where the light is lit. So when you look into the camera's on the ground behind the bars, so you're getting a proper screen. On the right-hand side, you see that door on the right-hand side? There's more doors like that down there, but there's no entry out. And then straight up, the only one on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, sorry, there's all doors going down. It looks like stables.
Yeah.
And on the left-hand side, it's a small box room and like an exit door, but you have to press the only one. That's the only way out. But anyhow, I shall play it now and see what you think.
Prepare yourself.
Oh, here we go.
Our body cam caught the image of a dark shadow at the end of the closed-off alleyway. Did you see it? Look at the area darken.
Oh, all right.
In this clip, you can see from our live no one was up there and the area was sealed off.
That's me walking down.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's a bad smell in there. Really bad.
Was this the spirit of Jack the Ripper, or was it Elizabeth Stride listening in on her story being told? On our Jack the Ripper
Do you want to play it one more time and have a wee look?
Yeah.
tour with Russell Edwards, our body cam caught the image of a dark shadow at the end of the closed-off alleyway. Did you see it? Look at the area darken. In this clip, you can see from our live no one was up there and the area was sealed off.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's a bad smell in there. Really bad.
It was awful smell, actually. It was desperate. So there you go. That's the...
It's a fantastic catch. Honestly, it's
remarkable.
Don't know what it is. As you can see, there's only one way. Nobody was in that area. I walked right there. So we don't know.
It's not just a casual shadow, is it either? It's big enough to be somebody rather than just a reflection or you know. Yep.
I actually sat for about an hour and a half with my TV, because obviously on a TV it's a lot bigger, right? And you can actually see whatever it is, it's got a hat. It has got a hat, and it has got like a cape on of some kind, like the Victorian gentlemen used to wear.
Yeah, I mean they were not just Jack the Ripper. It's the iconic image of what he's supposed to look like, but there would be gentlemen and coachmen that would be dressed in a very similar way. You know, they used to come down from the West End, even by the penny buses or by hansom cab, and they wanted to see the East End by night. So who knows who he is. It's bold to say it's Jack, but we can't also say it's not because we don't know. And let's face it, he was described as the Whitechapel vampire. He was seen as some sort of spectral, supernatural character because he was never caught. He seemed to just disappear into thin air. So it does imply that maybe some of those shadows might be from the man himself. Who knows?
I think investigation. That what Jenny
I think you're right. I think there are a number of locations in the East End still intact that need to have some investigation.
I was going to mail the guy who let us in because when we were live, he subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I had to kind of type it in for him and so on. So he has liked our channel and watched it. But I was thinking of mailing him to see if we could spend
the night there.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, it looks like there's a lot of room down there.
It does.
I'd go into that back room and probably, I mean, it'd have to be cleaned up. It's been smelly, but it was an awful smell in it. But I would love to stay.
What was smelly? You can wear a mask. You can carry a pomander. You can do anything. If you get the golden chance, if it's a bit whiffy, as long as it's safe. If you get the golden chance, you can't. Oh, well, you've got to clean it up for us, because the thing is, it could be the Pong of the East End. In fact,
because they used to throw the sewage in the sea.
Maybe it's just the stench of 1888 that lingers. It is a phantom Pong. Now,
oh my God!
Now you may mock, my wonderful friends, but I tell you what, there's not enough research being done into ghost smells. And believe it or not, you can go to a number of historic properties around the country, National Trust properties that, they use cleaning products, but they've got to be really careful with what they use. You can get strong whiffs of things like lavender. You can get, these are no smoking properties, smells of tobacco smoke. These are, ladies and gentlemen, they are phantom smells. I know some people are already into that. They're already on the ball with it.
Wow.
But ghosts manifest in many, many different ways, by sound, by sight, and I think also it could, just like you get the replay of a memory that you might tune into from a stone tape experience. Well, why can't you smell? And I believe I have smelled things from the past when I've visited historic buildings.
Even taste.
Yes.
Even tasting. I remember doing an investigation with a team. I used to be on many, many years ago, and we were in a cafe in Dublin. The girl was, she was a manager, but she could sense her granny being there. She'd smell flowers. So we sat at the round table. There was 2 or 3 K2s on the table. I was only new to the paranormal then, but it was a few K2s on the table. And so this lady was linking on with me because she was nervous. And so it was November, and I had my scarf and everything on me. They were all the same and so on. There was about 5 or 6 people there sitting around this round table. And I was really thankful for it was a cafe and there was some light from the fridge, because they threw me in at the deep end in some locations up in the north of Ireland and so on. Anyhow, this lady, this guy said, I can sense your granny over at the back wall, blah, blah, blah. And this girl got upset, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to keep an Irish long story short. I'm trying to do. So he, anyway, so I know she got upset. And then I could smell, when you spray perfume or your aftershave, whatever, and you spray it into your mouth. So it felt like I sprayed perfume in my mouth. I could taste perfume. So I'm kind of like in the dark, like leaning over to the outside and quietly sniffing the air. And then I put my head down to my own scarf, quietly sniffing my scarf. And then I kind of leaned into her a little bit too close to smell her, to see it was coming from her. And it wasn't.
You've got to check it out. If you do really have issues with Pong aroma, there are ways to deal with it. I've got pals that worked in the forensic world, and Vicks.
Yep, that's right.
Vic?
Yeah,
a little pot of Vic. If you really have to be in an area that smells bad, if they have to work with cadavers, they just get a little bit of Vic, and they put it under the nose. When they've had the initial tests and everything else in the room, they don't want to damage their senses. But if it gets too much, you've got to be there for a prolonged period of time. Mix under the nose, job done.
Perfect.
And if you don't fancy that, you know, Carbol capsules.
I've heard that.
Remember them?
Which one?
It's like a little rubberized cold capsule,
and you break it and you put it. Yeah, I know it.
And then you can contain it in your handkerchief.
Okay.
And then you can just keep kind of sniffing away. It's a little bit gentler, you know. But make sure that if you think it is a ghost smell, you know.
I see. If they gave us the area for the night, I'm good with it. Even for 3 or 4 hours, I'm good with it. Well, I kind of said, I said to the guy, I said, I can, and I was stuttering because I was nervous to say it, because if I did say it, then they know, I know. Yeah. And then I'll know that they know that I know, that they're coming through me. And I was new, and I'm like, you're the new vessel because you're thinking under me. So I said, I can taste perfume. I said, Mick, I can taste perfume. Within that, the REM pod were going off, the K2s were going off. The noise, the alarms, the tri-field meter, all of them were going off. And it was interesting. My very first experience, it was interesting.
What I would also add is people talk about when they are very clearly. I hope to do an audio book. There's been a request for my Bram Stoker biography, so thank you, Linda. Yes, one day we'll do that. But what's interesting is about these phantom pongs and stuff. It sounds silly, but it's worthwhile exploring.
If you think about quite interesting.
When demons are said to appear, you can smell what they call brimstone. Now, brimstone's the old name for sulfur.
Sulfur.
But I have to add to that, under pressure, in the presence of a demon, I'm pretty convinced that people are going to drop the guts. Frankly. And I've smelled some pretty bad, eggy stuff going on ghost hunts. I mean, I've ghost hunted with people of all ages. You know, that magic age. You know, people who, you know, it's going to come out if they're under pressure. And you know, I've even had to take the blame for some of that because I'm a nice host. You know, excuse me. So
we use the thermal imaging camera, so we can point it at where the gas is coming from.
Yes, we could do that. The key to it is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're getting involved with ghost hunting, just don't wear white trousers. Right? That's Dr. Neil's advice for the night.
Black trousers.
Black trousers only, in case it gets a little runny. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my!
Let me tell you. Oh my God!
Pressure's on. Because the last thing you want is to be in a situation you're shot and you've got a close up of your bum going up steps.
Yes.
Oh my God!
I would suggest for them to wear white just because I need a little bit of fun.
That's it. You're listening, Drew. Ghost Squad Scotland. Everybody's to wear white.
That's a whole new meaning to ghost evidence. That's all I could say.
There was one woman who did wear white pants, and it did happen. So I totally relate. I don't relate myself, but I know the story of it. And
you were wearing the white trousers, Jen? I mean, you sharted?
I shot all the time. No, I don't. No, I don't. Chris is there staring at me like I do. I'm joking. I don't.
I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed about, Jen. You know, it can happen.
It's hot in here, is it?
You get a spicy meal before you go ghost hunting. You know, that spicy sriracha sauce.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
We ate before an investigation. Oh Lord. It's
not good.
Let's have the egg salad before the investigation.
No, that should be banned. That's just nasty.
Oh, we had heavy food, and like one of the guys, Alan, would go to the bathroom 5 times. We had a guest team up from the south of Ireland.
You've named and shamed, Jen. You've actually named him. Alan, who goes to the bathroom multiple times. Is he still part of your group?
I will say this.
He's on international broadcasting now.
He's in the Drogheda Museum. He investigates with us in the Drogheda Museum in Millmount. So,
we're narrowing it down now. This is going to be on the BBC One News where Alan and his multiple trips to the toilet.
I must text him and let him know. There was one where I have so many outtakes. I keep them for receipts for insurance. But they do go up sometimes.
Oh, you rascal.
There was one where I had my recorder running, and when Alan had farted, and it sounded like the beginning of the Addams Family tune.
It sounds. Was that the one you sent me?
Yeah, we put music to it.
He can fart the Adam.
It was a flute. Yeah, that's what happened. That's exactly what it was.
I love it. I'm liking that. Great guy.
I'm feeling on to you as well. That's exactly what happened.
Hey, yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, that could be one of these ticky-tocky things going on there. Alan's farts.
I will say this, that on investigations and that, I have noticed that, and I've heard this from other investigators, don't wear aftershave or don't wear perfume, because then people will smell something, they're like, oh, I can smell perfume. It'll be an investigator that's already been in there, and then they've walked out, and they're in there, and they can smell like Chanel No. 5, and you're walking about it, and it's actually somebody else.
Yeah. So we've had a laugh for that, but seriously, I do agree. Do wash. I mean, personal hygiene, when you're getting close and you go hunting, do use the soap, but just keep it to a minimum.
Yes, that's it.
Entire can of the Lynx effect.
Cleanliness to a minimum. I like people that smell nice, but in a ghost hunt situation, just keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, keep it clean.
Yeah.
And
that's funny. I just text Alan saying we're talking about your farts on the show.
Oh my God.
Is he a big fan? Is he a big fan? Is he going to get nasty?
No.
So, Neil, your new book that I see behind Jenny there, I see it. I've actually still to buy it, and I know that's a signed copy. Am I right saying this? You do sign copies?
Sure it is.
It is it is the first of the first edition, first 20 copies that I received. Yeah. The very first one, that's Dacre Stoker, who is the great grandnephew of Bram. It was like giving a book to Bram, and he's got number 1 because he's a very, very dear friend and been a great supporter. But every other one has gone to wonderful people, and Jenny is one of the first 20. Number 4.
Number 4. There you go.
There we are. There will never be another numbered 20 of that book. I think the first run more or less went out. It was amazing. I ran out at 2 festivals with people being so kind and buying them. So I'll always sign them, but the numbered ones are from that real first 20. A bit like, and Bram did that with his first 20 copies of Dracula. He went to his publishers and he just did a sign, and it's very special. But yeah, I'll always gladly sign a book for people because
I agree.
I've got a stack of them. I've got a stack of your books. So the next one I meet you, I'm going to be getting you to sign them all.
I'd be delighted. Do you know what? A lovely man came over from Germany, and he to one of the conferences, and he had a case, and he said, "I've like, will you sign these?" And I think there were 10 of my books from over the years, hardbacks. But he said, this is my chance, and he was a serious book collector, and he wanted them signed. So it was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure.
I must admit, they're a very interesting read, guys. And if you're watching this, guys, you need to go and buy the book. And especially if the Christmas time is coming round the corner, it's a nice little gift to give someone. I like that book because the unfortunate book is the little book of death. I know I keep going on about this book, and I need to give it to Jenny actually because it is just ridiculous the way people have died, isn't it?
Yeah. There's some crazy stuff there.
There's some crazy stuff.
My favourite story is Joe Pooley Newman, who was a jazz musician that felt that his sexual prowess was failing, so he had some sort of operation performed on his.
Did he?
Mr. Willer, and and he wanted some enhancement on top of that because he's got a new young girlfriend. He wanted to look super impressive, keep his staying power up. And he got it up. He toked himself up with all that stuff, and his cock blew up and it killed him.
Boom. Honestly, I read it. After you told me, I'm like, I can't be real, and I read it.
You couldn't make this stuff up. And there's bonkers stuff like that. So the one certainty in life is death. Yeah, I was on Chris Evans' breakfast show with that as well. Chris loved the book. and that was absolutely smashing. But on a
what a way to go! What a way to go! I mean, I just having that in your death certificate.
But but that's Little Book of Death. But my beloved Bram Stoker, author of Dracula, it's years of. I mean, I've known Dracula all my life, haven't you?
Love it. Yes.
You know, if I'm not saying you guys are kids from the 70s because I don't know about ages. I never
I'm
asked.
80s. I'm 1981. I was born.
I'm liking your style.
And the 70s.
Well, I was born in 1972.
And
that's the year that Dracula, AD 1972. You know, it's all set in there. And when you see it on TV, that's the funny old world we were born into.
Yeah.
So all my life, because they were showing them as reruns or showing them on TV, then the reruns and everything else, and the posters that scared the Jesus out of me on the way to school when I was a kid. I couldn't go and see the films; they were ex-certificate. But something inside me. Who is this guy? Who is Dracula? And why am I so scared? Who could create Dracula? And at that time, there was next to nothing written about Bram Stoker, not easily accessible to a youngster. Look at that. See, it's the Taurian Gemini mix, you see, of May, and it's wonderful. So our beloved Bram, I've discovered his story for myself. There was Harry Ludlam had written a biography of him, and I got that out of a second-hand bookshop. But even then, that wasn't enough. There were still mysteries about this man and the things that he had written. And so over the years, I started collecting. In those days, they were not as expensive as they are now, but first editions of Dracula. Not Dracula. They've never been cheap. But early editions of Dracula and things like Bram Stoker's other books. He wrote a book about deceivers and con men. He wrote fiction books, the Shoulder of Shasta, at the Waters Moo. I could never get Lair of the White Worm cheap enough in a first edition until I was a grown up, and I had to stag the money for that because it's a really weird and wonderful book. And so, then when we start getting on, just before everything starts going online, dear old David Drummond in Cecil Court in London had letters from Bram, and that kind of that was like literary cocaine. That really got me hooked into collecting things from the man. And then finding weird publications, obscure publications that Bram had written for. And it's an addiction that's grown and grown and grown over the years. And then when eBay, you get all these wonderful things that people find, and things like menus and notes and all sorts from Bram and his friends. And I got to know wonderful people. Richard Dolby. Now, Richard Dolby, he was, if you knew the 70s, 80s, he was great at creating compendiums of ghost stories and vampire stories. Richard was lovely. And then over in America, the man that had a fantastic collection of Dracula books and vampire books and all sorts of ghost material was a man who had the wonderful name of Robert 18 Bysang.
Wow,
you won't get many Robert 18 Bysangs in this world. His dad was a professional gambler. And apparently it comes from the French Etienne, because I said, where do you get a moniker like that, Robert? and he was great. He, on his little finger, used to wear a ring for special events. I think he used to wear it quite often. It's the Dracula crest, and it was Bela Lugosi's Dracula ring, which was loaned to Hammer Films for Dracula AD 1972. It is the ring.
I bet you want that for your collection.
I have no idea what happened to that, sadly. But the friendship that we had, sadly, he's gone. He passed away. Richard Dolby passed away. And my ghost hunting buddy, you imagine this, the ghost hunting buddy, your right arm, you know, the one's always there. My buddy, Andrew Selwyn Crome, who used to collect ghost books and books on legends, and we used to sit up late eating smelly cheese and drinking port and watch Amicus and Hammer Films. He goes and dies, bless his heart. And he's
Oh
not
my
much older than
God.
me. So, that's 3 buddies down, my fellow travelers in the world of Dracula. So I just thank God I've got Dacre in America and this wonderful little group of us. So that's why he got number 1. There's just the 2 of us left. It's rather like Kind Hearts and Coronets. Somebody's killing us all off.
Do you know something? I'm going to research that. I like researching things because it's a kind of wee hobby that I've got. And I'm going to see what happened to that ring.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. It would be. I think I don't really, because I don't pry. If somebody leaves you something when they pass away, that's a great and special thing. And I have some of my dear friends' books which I treasure, because they were not only really good. Early Harry Price was a ghost hunter in Great Britain. Back in the day, Harry Price was a legend. Some people, I think Harry really believed in ghosts. He wanted people to believe in ghosts, but whether all the evidence that was produced was quite as I cast no nasturtiums. He got a lot of us interested in ghosts, and there was Algernon Blackwood. There's also Oliver Onions, and all sorts of wonderful, wonderful, fun books that my friend had, and some of them we bought the same ones. We used to chase after these wonderful rare editions. There we are. Bye, Linda. Nice to see you.
Thanks for watching, Linda.
So yeah, it's Bram's been with me a long while, and this book is a tribute to those friends and all the people that I've met through this wonderful journey of Bram Stoker that I've had over the years. And you do.
His parents Irish? They were born in Sligo.
Mm-hmm.
Who were?
He had English. Did he have Irish parents? But they moved to England.
Well, now that's an interesting tale. Now, Bram Stoker was born in what's known as Merino Terrace. Now, it was just known as the Terrace in Clontarf in 1847. Okay. So that's where he was born. His mother's family, yes, you're right, it's Sligo and the Sligo cholera epidemic. That's the mother's line, and they're one of the oldest families in Ireland. I've traced their line right back. And in fact, they had this thing, I think it's called a catnash, which was this wonderful, it's like like Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Ark of the Covenant. Well, this was an ark that contained a religious book that was sacred to some of the early Christian faith in Ireland. And when this thing was carried by Irish tribes into battle, it would mean that they'd win. And they were some of his. They were the Blake family in particular, going way, 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 way back. He had an ancestor called Richard Pistol Blake on his mother's side. He was one of the greatest duelists in Ireland, and Ireland was a dueling country. It was up there with Germany once upon a time. But he also had one of the generals in the same Blake family, one of the generals of the Irish Rebellion. I think that was the 1798 rebellion, and he ended up being very horribly hanged. So they're brave. They fought for Ireland. They are Ireland through and through. But the Stoker family, that actual surname is I'm in Northumberland in England at the moment. It's really local to me. I've traced it back to Morpeth in Northumberland in Geordieland, which is why the biography begins with a 17th century map of Northumberland. And that's in the 17th century is when the Stoker family were over there in Morpeth, and the collateral line, because Bram's ancestors went over to Ireland with King William's army, and they married locally and they settled. So that's when the two, and it's funny, they were kind of on opposing sides, the families, the Stokers and the Blakes. That was a bit.
Sligo. Yeah, I love Sligo.
But they originally settled in Ossory. Is that how you pronounce it? Ossory?
Offaly. No, Offaly.
Ossory. And you'll find Stoker graves in Offaly.
Offaly, spell it again for me.
I think it's Osssory. Or at least that's in the old document. It's how it was spelt.
Okay, Offaly. I've actually never heard of that.
And have a look in the back of my book under O, and you'll find it in. I think it should be in there. I think anyway. Sometimes they edit books down to people rather than places. OSS. Have you got it?
Yeah, I got it there on Google, but
it's very interesting, isn't it? It's amazing how all this has came about.
And what happened was when Bram Stoker was baptized, they got the rector of Ossory to come and baptize him in Clontarf as a guest. So and it shows that the links between the Stokers and Ossory going way back remained there. And I think if I remember rightly, he was the Reverend Nugent, and that became one of the middle names in the Stoker family as well. So there must have been that connection to I gather it's pronounced Ossory or Offaly.
Ossory. I've never heard that before.
But it's very interesting. It really is.
It's in Kilkenny, County Laois. Was a medieval Irish kingdom comprising what is now County Kilkenny and Western County Laois.
Ah, there we are.
So corresponding the Diocese of Ossory, the home of the people. It existed from around the 1st century until the Norman invasion of Ireland in the 12th century. So it is a place, and it is down in.
See, I'm talking ancient history. But some of these dioceses, they maintain the old name. What we will have to do, Jen, and I'm sure Chris you'd love to do this, but we've got to come over. We'll have to get some maps.
Just in their own boat.
Come over,
and we'll arrive in Dublin Fair City, and you can guide us to Clontarf. And we will trace the Stokers back and go to Ossory. But I want to go to Clontarf because the church where Bram and his siblings were christened is now a ruin. Because Clontarf Church, in the latter part of the 19th century, was rebuilt it had bigger congregations, and the old church was left to ruin. But it's the ruined church where Bram and his siblings were christened. So I wonder, did they leave the old font in the ruined church, or has the old font been removed to the new church? And that's the font where Bram Stoker would have been christened.
Clontarf is only 37 minutes away from me.
I
just
have my God.
So what I will do is
the ferry terminal.
I will Steph Louise on my team. We will go up to Clontarf one day till she's off work, and we'll do a little looking around for you.
I'll tell you what, if one of you've got a spare room and you can put up for an Englishman for a weekend,
come over and stay in my place. I don't mind at all. Come over and stay in my place, and then we'll just travel to Clontarf easily.
We can make a film and everything. We could do it.
Yay! And I have the little pup. Well, the puppy might not be here, but
Oh, don't.
I'm looking up.
I'd have trouble going away without that puppy. Little Ollie. Oh, come on.
I'm actually looking up.
Oh, no. He's
no, wee puppy again.
He's awake. He's playing now. He's been a devilment.
He's just the most beautiful little rat. Oh, bless his heart.
Okay, now he's getting crazy because he wants to go play. Go play,
little man.
Go play.
Oh, I hope he has a happy, loving life like he's getting right now.
No, he's fat. Listen, he's up for adoption, but he's not ready to go just yet. So, who knows what will happen between now and 4 weeks' time? Because he's not ready until he's 4 weeks. But who knows what happens?
Oh, my God.
I'm not saying anything. I would be killed if I do.
October's one of my busiest months. But maybe. I'd like to try and come over when the weather's decent enough to get some reasonable photographs.
Yes, yeah. We should bring up to the Hellfire Club in Dublin as well. That's only 40 minutes away from me.
You are but a temptress, Jen. That's all I can
say. What can I say?
I'm actually. I looked it up.
We can go to TCD. We got to see some. I've got friends in Trinity, and we're going to see the incredible library because that's where Bram Stoker went to college. There.
Yeah, he did. A friend of mine is a lecturer in Trinity.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And Bram was so popular. They had two societies. One was called the Literary Society and the History Society, known as the HIST, and they had the Philosophical Society.
Yeah.
And he was, in his time, president of both of them. He was such a popular, clubbable sort of gentleman.
Road trip coming up.
Wow, we're going to stride down College Green, lady. I know.
Yes.
I know we're going to do that.
I just looked up that it's the power of Google is an amazing thing. I just looked up and it's the baptism of Bram Stoker. I'm looking at the bit of paper. I looked it up and it's quite interesting. That's amazing. That is right. We need to go there.
All in the book.
I'll need to get that book. That's the only book that I've not got yet, but I'll get that soon.
Let's get ready and get a road trip.
Wow. That would be amazing.
I will, in the meantime, in the next week or two, I will make my way up to Dublin and go to Clontarf and have a wee look around for you.
You'll be sending photos.
I know. I know.
Oh, I send them loads.
I'll probably do it live as well.
The number is in there in the book. I forget the exact number in Merino Crescent, and there's this beautiful little park, little gated park. Just beyond, so you've got the gated park, you've got the Crescent, and then you've got these sort of Georgian houses. Yeah, it is stunning. I think there might be a plaque on it. I hope there's a plaque. I'll have a wee look.
That's weird. You just said that, by the way. That's just weird. You just said that.
Why?
What popped up on Google? Bram Stoker, 1847 to 1912. And then it's the author of Dracula. There you go.
And there's so many things around you, and you just don't realize what is around you. You just don't know. And I love Sligo as well. I think Sligo is a beautiful town.
I'd love to go. I mean, this is where they had the cholera epidemic there. And it's a story that his mother Clontarf Church.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the ruin. There. But the cholera epidemic at Sligo, the story that was told over by family members over Bram's little cot when he was a kid, was how they had Long Sergeant Callan. And now a lot of the people had tragically died in Sligo of the cholera, and it meant the medical people had either fled or they died because of the cholera. And so you haven't got all the medical know-how. And they're pulling this guy, Long Sergeant Callan, out of where they had a big death house there, probably a town hall or something, or a hospital. And they took him down the steps. And as they took him down the steps, what they thought was a dead body, his head hit on the steps, and it brought him round. And he lived for a few more years after that. So that's one of the first instances of Bram encountering a man risen from the dead in story. And of course, if you go to St. Michan's, that's where they have the mummified bodies.
Yes, they do. They do. And I went there twice, and both times they were closed. And I had to ring them up to say, when are you open? Because myself and Louise went up to Christ Church, which was stunning, absolutely amazing on the inside. It's fabulous. And we went to we got talking to a tour guide, and he was telling us the pubs to go to because they were haunted. We went into every haunted pub. Haunted pub. They knew us by the time we were leaving.
That's bonkers.
We did have a drink in every pub. Yes, we did. Of course we did. You gotta do it when you're in Dublin.
Oh, it'd be rude not to.
Absolutely. The crack. And then we talked to them about this place. And there was one particular place, and I forget the name of it. Louise will remember the name of it. But the waiter, we were talking about the bodies underneath the floor. I mean, it would be handy if I had the name, but I forget it. And he goes, "Yes, I can bring you down if you want." And we said, "Would you really?" He goes, "Yes, but you must eat first, and then let me prepare and sharpen my knives." And we're like, "What?"
Whoa.
He's a waiter. And I said, "I don't care. We don't mind sharpening knives, but bring us down to, we want to go underneath the floors." And he goes, "Okay, but you must eat first." And he was from Brazil. And he was being kind of, at one point it was like funny. And now I'm like, "You got to sharpen your knives." And he goes, "So which one wants to go down first on your own?" Are you kidding me? So we didn't get down, but I mean, there was a band there playing the banjo and the guitar and tin whistle and whatnot. They all said,
just enjoy the banjo. Give me a drink of the banjo. I'm not going down a cellar on my own with a guy with a sharp knife. It's not going to happen.
I know, it was brilliant. And he was I was doing a live and he goes, where are you, everyone from? America, New York, England and Scotland and yada, yada. Where are you from? And I'm like, Ireland. Yeah. Good old Ireland. And he said, whereabouts? And I said, Drogheda. So he used to record his music down in Drogheda. Wow. So it's a very short place. So we were doing another live again and he was saying hi to everyone on Facebook and whatnot. He's very Dublin. And then when we were leaving, some American woman said, good night, Jenny. And I'm like, how do you know me? And then I was like, to your man, I said, we have to go. And he goes, good night, Jenny. And the whole pub said, good night, Jenny. And I'm like,
legend.
You've got to get involved. You've got to get involved. I mean, if you don't see me, you'll hear me.
What we'll do is we'll go back to that place, right, Jenny? You're doing into the cellars with Drew and Gina. There she'll go. Me and Neil, we'll stay up the top, look after the banjo players and drink some Guinness.
The Guinness is really good in Ireland, I have to say.
I hear it doesn't travel well, but Guinness, I can't drink an awful lot of that because it sits heavy. Whereas your Jameson and Irish whiskies are very welcome in the nearest story coming.
Irish whiskey.
I will get you. It's a new whiskey. It's called Slane. And lads, listen. I like a whiskey, but Slane is way too easy to drink. Whiskey glass, just ice. It's smooth. It's warm. It doesn't burn your throat. I'll get you a bottle of it.
That's why I love the Jameson. I'm up to trying that smooth.
It's smooth. It's warm. There's no, that burn your throat kind of whiskey. It doesn't bang your head because I've tried and tested it a few times.
This Drogheda weekend's going to get messy, I can tell.
Listen, Chantal Blesser from South Africa, she came over to Ireland and she said she'd never drank like she did, until she came over to Ireland. I am here to teach. But the Slane whiskey is I wish I had some here now. It is. Let me tell you, I'll get you some of it.
I'm going to look that up.
It's new and it's smooth and it's lovely. And I've never.
Is it Slane as in it's a killer?
As in what?
Lawrence as well. Well up on that one. And Lawrence, also, hello to Lauren as well. That joined us tonight. Hello, lovely to say hello to everyone. Thank you. But I mean, I'm not entirely drink and food motivated, but life is too short to live off pot noodle.
Yes, right.
Amazon Prime, I've got it. Amazon Prime, I've got it. Can you believe Amazon Prime? I've got it. It's £22. It's not actually that much. Actually,
that's reasonable.
Slane triple cast Irish whiskey.
It's €40 here, €45.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and outdrink an Irishman. No, or woman. No. I'm there to enjoy, not competition drinking, friends. No way.
I am a
good friend of mine.
Prepare yourself, Neil. Prepare yourself. There it's there.
It is a nice whiskey. I'll pick you up a few bottles yourself and Chris, and so you can, because we can try it out.
Very good. A very good friend of mine is a 20-something stone Irishman, and he knows how to drink. And I know my limits, which is why he likes to hang out with me.
It's just,
I really do.
Well, you see,
I like to sip and enjoy the good times. I don't enjoy my evening in reverse on the Great White Telephone calling for Ralph.
Yeah,
that's the idea of a good time.
I'll tell you, that looks really nice. I'm going to shock everybody. I'm a Scotsman, obviously. I don't drink.
What?
Actually, I know. I don't drink.
That's confession. This is live, Chris.
I know, but I'm going to say something. Years and years ago, my uncle, which is sadly passed now, gave me a whiskey, and I think it was an Irish whiskey. I can't remember what it was, and it was very, very good. I can't remember what it was, and it was at New Year's. It was Hogmanay. You came to how the Scottish like to throw like Hogmanay and stuff like that, and it was. And I said to him, "I said, where did you get that for?" Because he used to collect whiskey. He spent thousands. And he says, "Oh, it's a very special one." And he never told me what it was called, but it was beautiful.
There we are.
And he never told you the name of it?
No. Nope.
Well, you may get
Never
your
told
record out and ask him, because I want to know.
I know. Are you there? Come through.
Hey, why didn't he tell you the name of it?
He was a strange character. He collected them. He had casks, loads of casks.
Was he? I laugh at the say, you know, when you have this ice, you know, the ice making tray, and they say you can use your leftover red wine in that for stocks, you know, when you're making. I'm like, what is leftover wine? There's no leftover wine in my house.
Absolutely. I can't collect stuff. I mean, I've got a bit of a wine rack, but you know. Now, all right. Now, Jen's got, Slains Castle in Scotland.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to sound like I've just wedged this in, but Bram Stoker, right?
Yeah.
The wonderful Clontarf-born boy that went through Trinity College, became the acting manager for Henry Irving in the West End at the Lyceum Theatre, and he used to love travelling up to Scotland. And when he was in Scotland, he went to a place that was in those days known as Port Errol. It's now known as Cruden Bay since the 1920s. And if you walk out across the cliffs, which are beautiful, dramatic, big stone cliffs, you know, I'm a Norfolk man, we're used to soft cliffs that wash entire villages away, you know. This place is rugged. It's really inspirational. And he saw Slains Castle, which is the Dukes of Atholl. It's one of their little residences. And it's one of the inspirations for Dracula. So, yes, Slains Castle.
There's a Slains Castle here as well.
But, you've got one there as well, have you?
We have one here, and it's 15 minutes away from me. They hold all the biggest concerts there. I've been there. I went to see the Rolling Stones. That was a great. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
You can't get into it anymore. Well, you can't get into do any. I don't think any team. Not that I'm aware of. Probably some team will come to me and say we investigated it, but it's the daughter lived there. She just moved out of it. Why? I don't know, because she got married. I mean, like, so stay in the bloody castle. But Lord Mount Charles is not well, so you know I think he was going over to the UK for her wedding. I'm not too sure. I read a lot of things and it kind of goes in one ear out the other. But so Slains Castle is beautiful, stunning land, amazing, fantastic concerts there as well. But it's only 15 minutes out the road from me.
Do you know that's a great idea? We'll go to Slains Castle with Neil Story, and we have a couple of bottles of Slane whiskey.
Mighty. That's really close to the cliff edge, Chris. I don't think there's any drinking in that Slains Castle. It's precariously near the edge.
Be fine. Don't worry about this elemental that stays there.
I tell you what,
whiskey
if you go there, investigate it clear, because I tell you, it's got atmosphere. Then we shall go to the Kilmarnock Arms, where Bram wrote some of the chapters of Dracula, and that's where Bram used to go and stay in what's now known as Cruden Bay, Kilmarnock Arms. Yes, and we'll sink a few there. That'd be really fun.
Yes, there's a lot of places. I must take you down to Leap Castle and Redwood Castle. And
I have heard about Leap Castle. One of my friends, she organises tours around the place, and American Mysterious Adventures tours. Our lovely Maria. And the American group went to Leap, and that was the kind of number one. That's the one to go to in Ireland.
It is phenomenal.
Rather like, local to me, we've got Chillingham, and I think that's probably, arguably, the most haunted castle in Great Britain. It's certainly one of the most welcoming for ghost investigators, and I really like that. Great team there, nice people, and I like places that welcome people who investigate the paranormal. I like that. They don't interfere with you. It's pretty darn good. So that's great. We've got Chillingham here. You've got Leap. What about Scotland, Chris? What would you say is the most welcoming haunted castle up there?
Wow. A lot of people go to Edinburgh Castle, right? Everybody thinks Edinburgh Castle's but I'm going to say this. Stirling Castle is better.
I agree. Stirling is absolutely spot on. That's the seat of the Scottish royal family.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of my DNA is Scottish. I speak with an English accent. That's because my family fought for the Bonnie Prince, and we had to get out pretty darn quickly after that little incident at Culloden. There we are. So we're very proud of that. Very proud of our Scottish roots. And they are very genuine. And, you know, Stirling Castle is welcoming. It's got big rooms. You can, and if you go most days, it's big enough that you can find a little bit of time, which is quite quiet in some of the big rooms, and get the old cassettes going, you know.
Have you ever seen when you go in the main gates and you go up to the right, there's a big well in Stirling Castle, and it's got a big grate over the top of it.
So through the main gate up to the right where the cannons are.
Yep. And then you go up through, you go right, and you head up to the corner, and there's like a big round. It's like a well.
I've seen it, yeah.
And there's a metal grate, obviously, to stop like American tourists falling down and stuff like that. Wow. But a lot of people throw their money down there and have like a wish and stuff. But actually, the graveyard below Stirling Castle is meant to be one of the most haunted in the world.
It's got that weird pyramid in it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
And
that's right.
I was really, really drawn to that. It's got a ruinous building nearby, and it's a bit good.
Wow.
It's a bit good, you know. I think there are a number of places in Britain, quite rightly, that are very, very popular with tourists, but there's a lot more to discover.
There's a lot. Can teams investigate in there, Chris? Could teams like kind of book into it to investigate? Or you just
Stirling Castle? I think you can actually. I don't know. I would need actually. Drew actually in the chat knows quite a lot about it because the church there is meant to be haunted. I'll find out and see if we could do an investigation at Stirling Castle.
Cool. That would be massive. That would be massive.
Yeah.
Again, the joy of if you were able to set just a EVP recording device, get your phone, put it in the Great Hall where they had the feasts and the dancing and the regal occasions. It resonates.
Yeah,
history. It really, for me, more so than Edinburgh. Drew's been there.
I must have a look at that. I'd love to go over it. I know even in December, or maybe say we have away in January, so even February, I would do it as close as that.
Wow.
I will say this right.
Stirling Castle. It's got to happen.
I've got a picture of Stirling Castle. The thing about Stirling is the castle when you're standing in it's different for Edinburgh. Obviously, you've got the city below and that, and you look over, you can see the mountains covered in snow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you can see that there. That's obviously.
Oh my gosh!
A little bit of an idea.
But
when you're there, it's the views from the place as well, because you've got the William Wallace Tower nearby, and you'll see the area where he fought the English as well. He defeated an English army over the river. I mean, it's not quite in the same location as the bridge you know today. It was a wooden bridge nearby, but it's all going on there. It's absolutely laden with history.
Huge. You'd need not a lot of people with you. I'm kind of all about the that's my dog playing with his toy. Sorry.
It's like for instance the mausoleum built under.
That's the mausoleum. That's incredible. And I saw a message from Lawrence about meeting for a ghostly chinwag. Well, always happy on podcasts. But if you look out next year, Festival of the Unexplained, that's at, for goodness sake, I forget the name of the place now. It's a wonderful country. If you just look up Festival of the Unexplained, and it's not far from where you are, Lawrence. So, check it out. I've just had a mental block after this wonderful chat, taking us all sorts of wonderful places.
Just looking it up really quickly.
If you look Festival of the Unexplained, I can't remember it, but it's going to be a great event, and it's a big country house. It's Bosworth Hall. There we are.
That's what it is. That's it.
Bosworth Hall.
Safe the hell.
And I'll, God willing, I'll be there
I'm
next year. And we've also got
I'm on
the
mute.
Parameet
I told
as
you.
well. There'll be one in Hinckley, which is a big gathering of everybody interested in paranormal things. One in Hinckley. That's Neil Packer, Haunted Antiques Research Centre, organises those. There's one in Hinckley. There's going to be one in Chester, and he's taking another one down to Wiltshire way as well. So we'll be all over the place next year. But it's just lovely to have these get-togethers. But we need to have a big Parameet, I reckon, over up in Scotland.
And the whiskey.
And the whiskey. And there needs to be one in beautiful Emerald Isle.
Emerald Isle.
Because when you get everybody gathered together, not just your group, but all sorts of group, I believe that it's got a really nice vibe to it. I did wonder, will people clash? No doubt there's people that disagree, but I liked the vibe. If you come with an ego, well, don't. There you go. Leave that, or have an ego, but don't come.
Come with a Slane whiskey and just top everyone up with a Slane whiskey. Show it, make it fabulous.
We'll dance of an evening. We'll investigate of an evening. Just come and be there. Don't feel alone. That's so important. People can feel, and that's fine if you want to isolate. Investigate solo. I also respect that for all sorts of reasons. But if you feel, and I go to family weddings or gatherings from work, everybody just wants to talk about work or stuff, but no one wants to chat paranormal. Come along, and all your Facebook friends come to life because they're going to be there too.
I know. I mean, when I met Chantel in South Africa, and then I met her last year for the first time.
Wow.
And then my friend Tracy Day from London, I've gone over to London to Tracy. She's come over to Ireland to meet.
Yeah.
Meeting your Facebook friends that you physically can see them and touch them and and have fun with them.
And it's massive. I've now got friends in America, and yes, I've gone over to visit them, and they come over here. And people like Dave Schrader. Now, Dave, he's a big personality over there, big personality in life, but he's my buddy. He's a lot of people's, but he's my, the guy is lovely.
He's a nice guy.
Have transatlantic really nice friends like that, and when you do meet, the hug, the big hug, and just chilling out together. It's just magic. It really like here. I really believe it's kindred spirits. It really is. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And we're not that far away from each other. We're just across the sea, and
it's true.
It's like a 40-minute flight. Easily can be done. I've done it before, and I do fly, but I don't fly without a Xanax.
I've never been in an airplane. Do you know? I've never been in an airplane ever.
It's great with the Xanax.
Hold on the wing. I'll be fine.
I never thought I would until I started getting in. It's thanks to Bram Stoker. Bram wrote one of the very first travel logs of America, and thanks to this wonderful story and the research that I've done with him, that's taken me all over the world, and these wonderful tour groups that I work with. I don't do tour guiding. I do tour historian. I have wonderful people organise that. I don't do organising. I don't do. Someone's got a toilet that won't flush. Well, you go and see the tour manager. But I'll do the history, and so cornily, I am the international man of history now.
Yes,
you are. That. You see what I did there? Could have been mystery, but it's history.
I'm laughing at
that's what we need. We need to definitely do that, and we definitely need.
Laura, you'll have to get used an airplane.
Laura,
they're very safe nowadays. It's quite modern.
Fine. Can I bring me in parachute? It should be fine.
Put it in. Put it in your cabin bag. What's your carry on? It's a parachute.
Hi. Oh, come on. Wear the pair of goggles.
Your little scarf hanging out. I remember the only flight were we on? What month are we in now? October, was it? I can't remember the month we went over to London. I can't remember the month, but we did the tower and whatnot. And on the way home, I was kind of like I didn't have time to take my Xanax. I was probably a little hungover that I didn't want to take a Xanax because we probably were. that so I just had to kind of like wing it, pardon the pun, but just wing it and get on the flight. But no, I actually did have a G&T in the airport, maybe 2 or 3 of them. And
I used something called Stugaron, which I was put when I was doing some film work over in Spain years and years and years ago. I had a word with one of the 2 of the crew. I said, look, I'm not too sure about this flying business. I'm a Norfolk man. I haven't flown big time, to Spain before, which seemed like a big thing in those days. And I said, look, what do you take? Stugaron. And the nickname in the business is they call it Staggeron because it does sort of flump you out of it, but it's great. And it works on boats, planes, buses. Yeah,
I'm all right.
Yeah. And with enough travel, it's actually cured. I used to have terrible travel sickness, which a teacher that disbelieved me and thought I was larking about got me to sit next to them. And I actually said, Mrs. Bailey, I feel Mrs. Bailey, but you should have taken my word for it. But I really was very ill on buses. But now I touch wood, have very little travel sickness. Sometimes get the pressure a little bit, but you know, that's it.
Kind of thinking now, did I take a Xanax before I flew or not? I actually remember taking a selfie on the tube, and yes, I did take one because my face looked like I did take one because everything was.
What does your face look like when you take one?
No,
you're making your own jokes up there, Chris. Don't. This is a family show, Mr. Moore.
It's after 9 o'clock.
You're making an Irish girl blush now. Stop it. Now, what's your face? Does it inflate? What happens?
No, I look like you could kind of go like that over my eyes, and I'm just glossy. It's fun. It's quite fun because you're floppy getting on the plane. And I kind of get on the plane, and I've seen a girl I used to drink.
You're not selling it to Chris now. He doesn't want to get floppy. He wants to get out of control, bald and bonkers.
But it's nice because you kind of giggle a little bit, and then you're kind of chilled. You're chilled.
Yeah.
Everything is like good, and you're getting on a plane. And
I just had a vision as the 3 years going to America, me in the middle, Neil Story, and you. They were all
on Xanax. We look like Father Ted when they're kicking Bishop Brennan up the arse.
I
watched that the other night. That's crazy. That Father Ted. Oh,
that's
God.
okay, Lauren. That's okay, love. That's okay.
Have we got to go, my darlings? Is it about that time?
I was saying to Lauren. No, I was saying to. In 10 minutes. I was just telling Lauren. She's going to paint.
10. That's good.
She's an artist, so she's painting a picture of one of my dogs because she's a great artist, and her picture are like phenomenal.
Oh, that's really lovely. You would like to see that? Yes.
I've seen her work, and they're just. I love them, and I just said, right, I need. Even though I have 4 dogs, I have a big picture of. Up there, nice. But I need one of my old boy that's lying beside me.
I can sketch a bit, but my most popular drawing is one of the most ancient symbols of fertility. Looks a bit like a snail.
Really? I can draw a great stick man.
Yeah, it's a phallus. I think that's about all I can draw with any sort of symbolism.
I used to do a lot of art at the school. I actually was really good at drawing cats.
I don't draw any phalluses near school, Chris. That's a different zone altogether. That just doesn't happen. There've been incidents for other people in the past, just no phalluses near schools.
Wow. I was asking a question there earlier, but my friend Eric may just comment and say, Jenny, you're on mute. This was before.
Yeah.
Because I keep forgetting to put myself off mute. But I was asking you, Neil, what was your favorite location? And why was it your favorite location?
My favorite location for
investigation. So say your top 3.
Wow. Okay. Number one for me, because it's just down the road from here in Northumberland. It's Chillingham Castle.
Yay.
And I tell you what I like the people there. They welcome you. You can stay all night. You can investigate all night. They've got really good staff that will work with you. So, they've got to have somebody with you, but they're interested. They've got their own stories. They don't take over. If you want to work a pendulum, if you want to try the dowsing rods, they've got that. They'll help you.
Okay.
And so it's really welcoming. Okay. Now, it's one of those country houses that does have a collection of old torture devices, and I say that in inverted commas. It's a museum. They weren't used then, and this kind of legend of John Sage emerged attached to that, and it's got always King Edward torture and all this kind of. It's a load of rubbish. They didn't create that. I've got a concern that it's a construct that might be of some sort of entity. So that it's dark, and it's darker than many people realize. And they have genuinely found skeletons in the wall years and years ago. It has a genuine, attestable haunted history. You know, you think of the number of hotels and pubs that get a new manager, and all of a sudden, after 100 years of history, all of a sudden the bloody place is haunted. Yeah, now that doesn't make me a very happy bunny. I want, for me, and I know that there can be new hauntings and all that, I want a haunted history. Okay? I'm at an age now where, with the Help My House is Haunted show that I work on, it could be someone's home, it could be a 1970s.
That would be very interesting.
You never know what you're going to get. But for my spare time, I don't want to go and sit in anything too modern. I want to go to class, and I have had the privilege to work and investigate in some of the most wonderful locations around Britain. Historic castles, historic houses, really great sites. But Chillingham, you ring up the manager, Nikki. Yes, there is a fee. Yes, you can investigate all night, and it's got a haunted heritage. Yes, there were people held in a tiny little room. There are the scratch marks on the wall where the prisoners have been held, and they cast the days off and cut it through. People died in that room. People died in those walls. So yes, if you think dark entity force plus several spirits in there that have been there a long, long while. Junk the John Sage stuff. Yes, they've got some Victorian and possibly earlier torture display pieces. They're interesting. It's quirky fun. But for Haunted Castle that you can investigate and you can get some real atmosphere, and it's warm enough for you to, wear a sensible coat. It's not blistering hot like somewhere with loads of heaters all the way through. Go sensible. Stay warm. You will be pretty comfortable. If you speak to them, you want to go and see. There's the old in the larder on the where they've got now a cafe area. The old larder is in there. In the larder, the Duchess of Tankerville in her ghost book, which goes back to the 1920s, records the story of years before her time. A servant had to sleep in the larder because that's where they kept the family silver. And he'd be locked in there every night. And during one night, he was awakened by an elderly lady that wanted a drink. And because he's a servant, he's used to having guests ask for a drink of water. So he went to get some water. And because it's big down there, very big, as large as go. And he suddenly realised that he's getting a drink for a woman in a locked room.
Holy crap. And
he comes back, she's not there. And it's not been opened, and it's not, it's a big, heavy door. So if you say, Nikki, can we have a little stag down in the old larder? We want to do the dungeon. We want to do the Edward Hammer of the North room. You'll get to see them all. They have a standard tour, and since the Sam and Colby investigation, that I was really chuffed to be invited to join them. They're nice young lads. But very, very, very genuinely interested. Yes, they're fun. Okay, they're reaching a lot of people, but I don't think they're being dangerous. I think they are youngsters, young men, and their friends getting involved with paranormal research for a new generation. And they don't want to fake anything. They want the real deal, and ultimately, that's what I want. I want people to come in. They want the real deal.
I will say this: a show on TV, Haunted History, would be a really, really good show. I really do think it'd be awesome, especially with you, Neil. Especially with you. I think that'd be awesome.
Team of us, wouldn't it? You think of all the people now, Jen. I see that you've been working with. I did one of the second series of Help My House is Haunted with the lovely Chris Fleming.
Yes, I did.
Episode, and that was my first time in meeting that gang.
Yeah,
you've worked with Chris recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can tell you a tiny bit because it's not out yet. It started.
I know the series has started.
Ireland. It has started. It has the second season now. I've been to most of the locations, and my daughters were kind of like when I was showing the pictures of Charleville Castle, which is probably one of my favorite castles, and fantastic experiences in it. So my daughters were kind of like, "Mom," and when the intro starts, I watch it because Jenny's on the TV. I just had to say it, but it was. Yeah, but it was like fun and it was great, and I can't give the location away because it's not.
Don't.
Yes.
We know how that one works.
Yes,
I've got my filming next week for Help My House. Celebrity Help My House is Haunted.
I know, and I am watching Help My House is Haunted, and one of my friends, Emma from Sharon Rectory, Donegal, she was on it last week's one, in the Sharon Rectory. But with the one I did, yes, we filmed last year. It's going to be out in the next 2 weeks. And it was fun to meet up with the gang and the crowd, and all fabulous to work with, and the filming and whatnot. And
again, it's real deal stuff, isn't it? You're dealing with real deal.
What you'll see then will not be what you see now, because I was very shy. I was shy. I was.
I was
a little shy. Yeah, I was a little shy.
Really?
Well, good on you, lady. Long may you be bold and wonderful, and let this be the first of many. Get the connections going there. I never thought that I would. I mean, you'll see me on one episode per series of Help My House is Haunted, but I'm also always there to kind of back them up. And there's a couple of other historians as well, because if somebody comes to them and said, "Look, we've got this haunted place," you're going in cold. They want some indication of the haunted histories that are there.
Yeah.
And so that's the only sad thing is I don't get to meet Ian Lawman very much because they keep us completely separate. Because they don't want any shenanigans.
Jenny was a little shy because I'm used to the cameras were on me, and then 1 minute I had my glasses on, and then I had them off, and then I had them back on because I was playing. I was doing something. I can't say what I'm doing, but I was doing something, and I needed my glasses. And they had to say, "Look, you're gonna do it again because your glasses are off." And it was. I'm nervous. I have to say, I'm nervous of seeing it, but it's the first time, so
everybody gets the first time on telly, and in fact, even coming on a podcast like this, I'm still a bit nervous.
Really?
I can laid back now. I'm kind of laid back.
I might look like a swan, but I'm actually the feet are paddling like mad underneath the water. No, God, no! I have to. And I think anybody, if you genuinely care about your audiences, you care about what you want to say and meeting people, if you haven't got that nerve, and I've spoken to actors and some of them really well-established actors over the years, everybody gets nervous. Even people like Sir Ian McKellen. He'd say, frankly, you're terribly nervous. Terribly.
Oh my God.
Do you know? You should. Do you know if Discovery Plus is watching this? They do a show with Neil Story doing the history and Jenny doing the paranormal investigation. I'll carry the camera or something like that. But honestly, I think the two of you would make a great team.
That would be wonderful.
Really, it would be great.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be great. I'm kind of nervous of looking at the whole thing and not on the TV, but I mean, listen, it is what it is.
It would be lovely. Well, I'll tell you what, I think within this next 12 months, there will be a little bit of a show. And maybe all three of us in the Emerald Isle. I think that's going to have to happen.
Make it work. We're
going to make our own little adventure.
We can make it happen.
3 investigators have too much whiskey late one night.
We'll get a bad reputation for that. Now, my beautiful people, I have got to hop off now.
We have to go to.
It is that time.
Thank you
for
your warm welcome, both of you. Everybody's that's tuned in and enjoyed paranormal talk and boozy chat and all sorts. I raise a glass to you all.
Thank you.
And may your God or gods go with you all too. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Neil. Mwah, thank you
very
so
much,
much.
Neil.
Thank you for being here. We'll talk to you later.
It's been a pleasure. Good night, friends.
Good
Bye-bye
night,
then.
darling.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was amazing. The two of us, that was amazing. That was amazing.
That was, yeah.
I could talk all night.
I know, but the witching hour is upon us.
It's
half past 11. It's 11:30, you know.
11:30. That's not too bad.
Yeah, we've been here for 2 hours.
That was fun.
2 hours. I've lost feeling in my legs, you know.
Did you always lose feelings in your legs? I don't know, Rachel. I don't know. Conor O'Brien and the third Earl. Yeah, that's Lauren. We have to look that one up. Are you doing anything now next Friday? You have shows on next Friday.
This Friday coming.
No, this Sunday. No, you have a show tomorrow night, don't you?
I've got tomorrow night, I think, where it's Bald and Bonkers. It's, let me see, I need to go and see what it is. I think it's, I need to go to the channel, just give us a sec here. Well, Hollywood Forest of Tragedy with Bald and Bonkers, so that should be interesting. I don't know what it is. It's something
I'll have my Slane whiskey watching that. That would be good,
on Friday, we go Scotland. I don't think I've got anything planned for that night, but we've got the new series starting on the 23rd.
Yes, we do. We sure do.
Yeah, and it's called Paranormal Uncut with my co-host Jenny and myself here. And you won't believe who the first guest is. It's none other than Neil Story. Again, you will get to meet the legend of the history.
I know. He's so lovely to talk to. Like fun, lovely. And it went too fast, but I could talk all night. There's so many things I wanted to talk about, but we'll talk about them again. We'll talk about
you know, there's loads of shows, but you come on Friday next week and we'll just do like an open show and everybody can join and we can all talk about the paranormal. What would you think, guys? Drew, you, Jenny, everybody that's live streaming is welcome to join us, you know.
I would be on Friday night. I have to double check because I think I'm in Dublin next Friday.
Oh, I'll talk about a castle then or something like that, you know.
But if I'm not in Dublin, which I said I would be, but if I don't make it to Dublin, I promise I would go to Dublin.
An investigation of the Slane's Whiskey Brewery.
Yeah, a lot of spirits in it.
If you're watching, contact Jenny for what do you call it, promotion and stuff. All your t-shirts that says I love Slane's Whiskey.
Well, I know. I get a bloody job there. Next Friday is Friday the 13th.
Yes, it is.
Friday the 13th. And then Saturday night, I have a guest on with us, on Michael Wong. He's from Washington, D.C. So he has something to say, and he'll have something to say on the night. But I'm not saying it. He's saying it himself. I'm not saying it. He's saying it himself. But I do have Michael Wong on next Saturday night, not Friday night, should I say? Saturday night. He is on with us next Friday night. Me. Oh my God.
That's a kind of tongue twister there.
It is, isn't it? Oh, I'd be like that all day.
Chat to me, share my story.
Yes, I will, Drew. I definitely will. Like a paranormal round table on Friday night. It could be.
Yeah, we could do that. If you want to do that for the show, a paranormal round table, I can make up a catchy thumbnail for the old Ghost Squad Scotland. And we could do that.
Friday night. Yeah, we could do that.
13th.
And
what could possibly happen?
God knows what will happen. We'll all have a Slane whiskey. I will get you some Slane whiskey, and I'll get Neil some Slane whiskey because it is pretty nice to drink. And Lawrence said, I think it was Lawrence. I think Lawrence said, who said that they had it here before. It's nice.
Yeah, I think it was Lawrence. in the chat. You know, but it's been a really good show tonight, Jenny. It really has been. And I think that would be awesome. See if Neil Story got his own show about paranormal and the history. I mean, see, honestly, did you go, Jenny? You could do the ghost investigations with him.
I'll do that.
I'll carry the camera equipment and make the tea. Watch me, and look after the whiskey, the caravan or whatever it is. You know?
What'd you say? You'll do the tea and coffees and.
I'll do the tea and coffees and stuff like that. But I think that honestly, I see a show like that. I mean, going to people's homes and helping people in their homes and all that is good, right?
Yes.
But see the history of the location, see the history, say, like Slains Castle, for instance. Or like jails in Dublin and stuff like that. I mean, can you imagine the history there?
Like Wicklow Jail, Kilmainham Jail.
I've heard about that place. I've heard about that's why I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, Spike Island as well. There's a few more jails. I mean, there's Crumlin Road Jail up in Belfast as well. I know a team that does that location up there, and it is a great place. It is a fantastic place.
I'll say another thing that people don't talk about that much, and I would like to see a TV show in it. And say like Paranormal and History or whatever you want to call the show. But I will say that, do you know what would be really good? See the Potato Farm?
Yes.
In Ireland. There's no enough shows done on that. There's hundreds of shows done on everything else.
If I'm doing one like that, I'll probably end up being banned.
Yeah. But it's not, but there's a lot of there's a lot of burial sites out there that are still being found to this day.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know one in Sligo where I went over to the Clayton Hotel. I stayed there for the weekend with one of my team members, and it used to be a former asylum hospital asylum, whatever you call it. And we went over to the famine graveyard for children. The adults were in one area and the children were in another area. So we went and brought flowers to them. But and I always said, and I'll always say it, it wasn't a famine as they called it. It was like a genocide. You know, it was taken. It was taken. Yeah. That's why if I do it, I'll say, I know Tracy, she's very funny. When Tracy comes over from London, I take her to the St. Peter's Church in where I live, and St. Oliver Plunkett's head is there, and he was teaching. He was a priest, and he was teaching. He was going to become a bishop, and he was teaching religion, Catholic religion, and he was hung, drawn, and quartered, and his head is in the St. Peter's Church. So Tracy comes over and she goes, "What me, mate? What me, mate?" And I said, "Tracy, stop! Like, stop! Just don't say that." So
there's. Well, when you go, I was just going to say something in the chat.
Celtics, is this from Drew?
No, it was Lawrence at the bottom. You guys need to come to Alcatraz. I would like to see you in Alcatraz, Jenny. Locked in the cells, Neil Story telling the story,
End up asking some questions that, kind of like, I remember when I went back to Hellfire last week and I was like, sorry for the last questions, but I wasn't really. I wasn't really. And I meant what I said.
Horrible. They were horrible. And it's the same with the potato farms. What happened was actually genocide. If people know the real history.
Yes.
What actually happened.
There is and I will get the monument up for you. It's beautiful, but it's sad. Where you know how you have this these frickin' duck. It's called the famine statue in Dublin. And it's let me just find it here for you now. And it's very real.
It's a very what's that? Gettysburg is another place, the battlefield.
So I don't know if I can bring it up like this, but this is the famine statue in Dublin. I don't know if I can try and bring it up on my phone, but we'll have a wee look.
I'm sure I'll put it on the phone. Yep. And it's got all the people. I've seen that. Yep. And
that's all on the street. That's beside the canal, the River Liffey and whatnot. And if you get up to the faces, it's all kind of and it's all over the path of. I know my camera's going to blurry now. Watch.
There's a lot of people out there that think that the potato farm it was because a weird fungus or something like that was in the potatoes. No, it's because the English that was in charge at the time were stopping the food from actually coming in to that part of the island. They
were taking it, and then that's when they had to go to workhouses because they had no choice. Now, I've investigated one workhouse a few times up in Derry, and I have to say, what an amazing, and I don't mean amazing as in fabulous, but what an amazing place to investigate and the stuff that we had gotten from it. And I remember up in the offices, we were given permission to go into them, but you can see on the wall, when the wall is painted, but the grids behind, you can see the grids behind that wall. And that's where it was kind of what was it called, like the dumb area, or the where the children or adults used to be changed there. Now, when I went in there to investigate, I am that person that will, I don't go in, I never go in disrespectful. I go in factual, and I go in, and if you don't like to hear the truth, because, oh my God, you've passed away and I'm saying something, tough shit, don't have me got into it. But I do ask the questions because I have a daughter with intellectual disabilities. So having, like, she would have been put into one of those rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. And I, even when I was saying with the Hellfire Club, when I was at the Hellfire Club, I'm not going in guns blazing and being a woman and disrespectful. I'm not stupid like that. I will go in and say, hey, this is what you did, a gentleman's club, but you're not a gentleman. You're a murderer and you're a rapist.
Yeah.
And even pedophilia and all of that at the same thing. And the rampart went off upstairs. I'm not there to goat or to tantalize them. This is factual, and that's what I said. It is what it is. And that's the fact. What are you going to say? Hey, can you tell me your name? Blah, blah, blah. We did say, give us one of your names. But still, I'm not going to go in like a little Miss Daisy and be nice.
It's like, the history of these locations really need to be heard. It really does, because I think the history tells the story of what happened. It's usually, look at that castle, Leap Castle, the room where they tortured people. I mean, my God, can you imagine being in there?
The Obulette. We're back in January. So when we go back in January, what I'm going to do, which I haven't done before, is to get a recorder and tape twine on it, or some string that we can lower it down into the Obulette.
Yeah.
And then leave it there, and just make sure, we can get it back out because we need to go over it. But there's only one way in there and one way out. And there was like 3 horse carts of bodies being carried in and out from that area. What else? Oh yeah, that I forget the room they called it in the workhouse. But if you left the workhouse, that's on your own back. But once you go into it, men, women, and children are separated until children were 3 years of age.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's actually quite interesting you say about the workhouse, because I stay next to, Drew in the chat will say this day, I stay next to one of the biggest cotton mills that were ever made, and it was called New Lanark Mills in Lanarkshire, and it was one of the cotton houses. And there's actually stories, and it's really, really haunted. I actually used small children to run underneath the machinery, to crawl underneath the machinery, and do stuff. I don't know what technical thing they were doing, but they were doing stuff. But sometimes they forgot that the kids were there, and they flipped the switch. Pulled the lever with them on there, and they get basically sucked in and mangled up inside the machinery. And the tragedy then was terrible. We need to do a show one night on the history. Do you know that the Irish history of the famines and stuff like that? We need to get right into this. Maybe if you want on that Paranormal Uncut one night, we could actually.
I think we should, because Uncut says you can say what you want, and I will probably the safest show for me to be on talking about that subject, because it will be very uncut, and I will say things, and some people might like it and some people won't, and it's nothing.
That's why it's called Paranormal Uncut, because it's only for adults. Let me put this out there, stress for this. If you're watching it, you must be an adult. If you're a kid and you watch it, it's your own risk, because it will be rated 18.
But you see, what we'll do on the poster, we'll have that it's an N something L. I forget the name of it. I don't know, but I will look it up. But it will stand to say we are covering our arses, and it's not going to be rough and ready and whatever. Just some words might be used, but we're not like that, so it will be less likely. But just in case a word slips out, then that will cover our behinds.
Yeah, that's good.
But otherwise, I'll say are.
So, what you doing the rest of the night, Jen, before you go off? I can't feel my legs.
I think I'm a little bit hungry, so I might get something to eat. It's now 11:45.
Yep.
I'm hungry, so I might get something to eat. What else am I doing? Nothing. I might do a little bit of audio.
Well, as soon as I get to my bedroom door, which will probably take me about an hour because I can't feel my legs, I'll just slowly crawl there.
Get Jesse to
the floor. I'll look at the guy in the desert. Water. I
should really go to bed, though. I should really go, because I look tired.
You should, because your cold's quite bad, you know.
Oh, it's a pain in the behind.
Yeah.
And I look tired too, but
you're not that bad. That'll be fine, you know. So anyway, I'm looking forward to my bed tonight anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, my body's going to scream when I lie down, you know, because my friend called over last night. You know, my buddy Peter called over last night.
Yeah.
And we had fun.
You'll be getting into bed. You'll get into bed. You'll go all tucked up, and you'll be like, "Oh, thank God!" It's so relaxing. There'll be a boom, boom, boom at the door, and it'll be Peter.
I'll say, "Come in, let's do it again." Yeah, I tell you, my twin said to me, "Jenny, I don't know how you do it," but I said, "Sometimes you need to do it. Sometimes you gotta let it go." But Peter, my friend, is hilarious. He's funny.
I like him. I think he's funny. I think he's
brilliant.
Really
he's just brilliant. I love Peter. I think he's just a bloody gem. He's hilarious. And I have brilliant videos. Yeah. So funny.
It was like Drew's panel. Chris thought it was his show and nearly ended that. No, I never thought that.
Well, no.
Aye.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus, was sitting there yapping away. Oh, yeah. Have a wee look at it.
Good show, guys.
I was going to say, I like when, when the co-host kind of stops it as well, that I don't have to do it all the time.
You've lost feeling in both of your legs. And
I'm very bad at saying goodbye.
You know. 6:30 in the morning, we're still here. Aye, so that's how woolly jumpers are made. Now, let's go into woolly hats.
Anyway, so let's talk about how they are made.
Oh, God, no, please. Oh, no, please.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, I'm going to get some food. I'm going to get food. I might have a little gin and tonic.
I'm going to crawl to my bedroom door.
I do need food. I'm hungry. And I can hear my girls upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Lauren knows me. No, Jenny's doing an Irish goodbye. So freaking true.
I want to get away. Save me.
So there's one time. Right, God, I'm joking. Right, sorry.
Goodbye,
right,
everybody.
We're going to leave. I want to say thank you so much for watching and commenting and liking and sharing and jumping in and then listening to the end of myself and Chris waffling about woolly jumpers and woolly hats. I'm having a major flush here right now. But I should be on next week. Chris is on tomorrow night. Bolton Bonkers, great subject. I like that. I will be watching. And I'm back on next Friday. I am going to try and get up to Clontarf during the week. And bye, Miss Drew.
Bye.
Bye, Lauren, my love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Right, I'm going to bring us in the background. Stay there, Chris. Don't go just yet. He's probably going to jump off now in a second. Right, guys, we'll see you next week, and Chris will see you tomorrow. Good night.
Have a good night.
What's wrong, Chris? Did he just give out to me?
No, fine. Let's go.
Oh, did he give out to me? Right, goodbye.